not just among our world today, but our church community and our Ghanaian community. As you unpack the message for this evening, we ask that you would be with the speaker and bring a message from on high so that we might all be blessed. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. We will look to our media for our music from our choir. Good evening again. Dr. Philip Ofori-Yentumi holds a doctorate degree in nursing practice from Northern Kentucky University. He started his nursing career as a nurse's aide before pursuing an associate degree in nursing from Gallon College of Nursing in Cincinnati, Ohio in 2013. He went on to complete a bachelor's of nursing degree from Miami University in Oxford, Ohio. He later on pursued his master's degree as a psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner from Walden University. Philip once served as a director of nursing at an inpatient psychiatric hospital in Dayton, Ohio. Philip is affiliated with the American Psychiatric Nurses Association. He is the founder of Feel Good Services. He realized the gap between the perception about mental health and the reality. He then decided to educate the minority community, especially the Ghanaian community, on mental health. He has a YouTube channel, Feel Good Services, where he streams video to educate the public and reduce the stigma surrounding mental illness. Through his work, Dr. Ofori-Yentumi is using his passion to change the mental health care narrative, both in diaspora and in the continent of Africa. Now we'll move on to our theme song. My
Mama yende nyame ase estan so ye na nado hoda. We want to thank God for such a day. Yes, until the day glorious things the Lord has done for us, and also Nadaroma obetimi. It is with much excitement that I get to present today. Now, there's been other speakers, and now me catch one of the organizers, and they say, oh, your program, this and then they say a series. Now, we get the only speaker. Yeah, not sometimes, you know, who baby are the papa because I can say you know with DNA. Oh, there's been other speakers, and they've set the bar so high. The various speakers, no, they've set the bar so high. It's me following right now. No, it's like, what are the participants expected? So I only pray, say, I won't disappoint you. But so just sit back, relax, and enjoy this evening's presentation. Okay. The other thing is, you better organizers know us. Say, or more a program, now, right now, our options are unlimited because you will Zoom. You know, anybody at all can come and speak on it. Now, so no no, with all the resources available to you, you chose to say menso member member kasebi. Enti no meda mo ase say mo yen so no ma frame na mo se so member boa na dwumadie enti me nkoso. Meda mo ase pay, I don't take it lightly or for granted. Thank you very much. And also tonight's presentation, as we've always done it, you know, message is going to be very interactive. I know how Zoom works. Ebiso sisu koda. Ebiso sisu so omutie but they're not close to the device or the ATN. But for tonight, you know, message we're not going to open for us to interact with voice. And yes, I heard Jesus. But what I want us to do is say, yeah, sending messages, right? Let's use the chat room a lot. I'll try and read as I go along. It also helps me to gauge your work during the presentation as to whether you are following your level of understanding and all of that. That is all I ask of you. Now the tosu mienu so no monkai mi pai bom abra me present analysis media enumere, and I chose my words carefully. Media, which means that you also have a role to play. Into no me pacho member like chance or renko. Me nchadie at least not for now. Into no you have a dinkobo na me media na yetimi esuade. Sis Emma introduction, you realize the running a phrase mental health, and as I said, oh, he worked in this, he worked in that, he worked in that, which gives the impression said mental health has been made the minimal, right? For my professional career, it's always been around psych. So I have this bias towards psych, and I would want to say instead, there is no health without mental health. There is no health without mental health. Say adwuma pomudi eni honoma apomudi bi eni honoma ehuhia. And also say ewo hono, because if you're not able to function well mentally, if you have diabetes, if you have cholesterol, if you gain weight, if you're doing anything at all, you will not be able to comprehend and be able to manage that. So it is very important. And when you say you to be taking care of our mental health and assess the state of our mental health. It's very, very important. Now, me try say me de brofo kakra me tino ebefra. Say be ya mebunu na also no ebetime follow through. Dr. Ewu Esiem did much better than probably I would do. Now, this was TP, sir. They will share the brofo hame. And these are the share says you make a tree. So you also realize, you say, in my presentation and my style, as a personality, I like to use sense of humor, right? Because the environment in which I work, is full of stress, right? It's full of stress. It's so demanding. And Indra, Dr. Ewunieka, stress myself. It's so heavy. So if you don't lighten it up a little bit, and you use the same posture and the year presentations, I do so much. You say after the assembly, you might lose it. Okay, and if you see me throwing in some humor in there, it is not to lighten the situation itself, but it is also to make it a level playing ground to where we are all comfortable to share. Okay, and also, and then the mom and mental health, dependency, and addiction. And this whole week, the the biblical perspective, 1 week to wellness. World chosen, 1 week to wellness, the biblical perspective. And this is where I want you to give me the feedback. Yes, I see if he has it. Say, dependency, any addiction. Question number 1. Do you think it relates to us in the church? So, what say, yeni ayewo asafuimu, akwanhwefo asafuimu, SDA, Central Zone. So, what say, efa ye ho. So, what say, ebi wo musa. So, what say, eyadia edi yenya. Only one answer never so far. Hey, itimpacho, me pese, mumi eninkobo. Okay. And if so, my second question. See, a case of dependency and addiction. A day in the year about you. What are your perceptions? What are some of the things that you typically hear? What if dependency and addiction? Me pancho, emso more or more chatty so far is the same names. It's a crime. Prescription drugs, loss of control, alcohol and drugs, drugs. Yes, these are the things that typically comes to mind. And as you previously said, because any respect of persons and some and yet discriminatory, right? But the wouldn't so say, addiction, any dependency, it is not limited to drugs. It is not limited to prescription drugs. It is also not limited to alcohol, right? And as the very last comment came, we could also be addicted to so many other things. And he said, oh yeah, we can say, and many more, food addiction, and true. Who said Dr. Friedel said, hey, the presentation 2 days ago, she made mention to that. And also, Ebeka wasem kakra. Enti no MPP say yeka addiction wasem a. Mummy ahwe nneoma bi a ebinum adwen fa ho. Common myth about dependency and addiction. People who are addicted lack will. Especially, and I say it's much easier for you to say, oh, that is a typical addict, always seeking for medication, right? And I say, then we have this perception about them. Oh, when you're not doing so big, anything you know what's use, and no, maybe sometimes you're doing fast, we say no. And the perception also that prescription drugs are safe drugs. That was also mentioned. Some of the things that people get addicted to, you be a prescription drugs. It's yes, the fact is that doctor prescribe a man and just a right? I don't mean fanasa as in fana as prescribed, but just keep taking it. So and every person that uses drugs is an addict. And also one of the myths out there. That is also not true. Not everybody that uses drug is necessarily an addict. Anything a topic, they say dependency. and addiction, right? And they may not even be dependent on the drug. And also another myth. And addiction is a sign of moral failure. Let me add this. Addiction is a sign of moral or spiritual failure. Ebi nso adwene a omo efa ho no. Na che se obi ye addict wo asafo ni mu dia na che se ase ne susum anase huhu mu no owofem. Anase so entitie no we nya ne ye. There be entisa. And only one type of addiction, there's only one type of addiction treatment that works. And also, Dr. Ben M. said there are different, maybe on my to me, I be boy ya pum a day. Na, and you may be one sana, a bunny treatment, and your one size fits all. Until the bay amount, ebiana, anye amame, right? Okay, until yantuaso, and then a trono, eka, efa. Addiction one. And as I said, how close can we get to addiction when it comes to the Bible? And you maybe I'm a person. See, 1 John 2:16, or say, for everything in the world, the last mommy movie I do it, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life comes not from the Father, but from the world, right? Until hunam akono. Any the new wa akono and you may be on ma yes yet as a nam and you saw and a quad dime anything that we can say and you whoopee every computer no one answer of phone I'll use whatever device I'll use because assembly nam and you was so and the year the record dime into no mommy and bank share the intimacy in the survey no so no there are certain things that we get dependent on or addicted to that it's because say you who ye Yehodam no akono nti na amanabasa. Now, 1 Corinthians 15:33 so I'll say, do not be misled. Bad company corrupts good character. School be Ghana, omo use sa Montreal as omo motto. May try as a mekai, and I've asked on some of my social media handles. I'm say a pound has something closer. So being in school, corner, me pacho betim their two church modem. Obrabone Yonkobone SL Brapa. Yonkobone SL Brapa. I think it's something like that. But the Bible confirms. The company that we also keep, can also affect us, right? Now, Titus 2:12 also. I say it teaches us to say no. Very important. No to ungodliness and unworldly and worldly passions.
Recording in progress.
Now, you share the Mami White and so Eka. I say the first time the temptation comes, meet it in such a decided manner that it will never be repeated. There was spirit of prophecy. Say ebane say ensohwe na eba emra edikan a ebeba no hia no wokwa bi so say en sign emabio. Who said that is a very powerful statement because say oma ho kwan a anaso say o defe na enye se wa hyede ma ho kwan o but as ade na eba no when si ano ntem na o defe no afede obehu no na ababe ye oso ase. Enti ehu hia pa say you pay attention to ourselves and debi ayameka say we should know our baseline. Okay, we should know our baseline. Enti they say there is any variation as everybody says sakra ye bia bemu na ye betimi ehu ni ntem na ya so ano. Enti no obi bebusa say enye a dependency and or addiction eye den kra aneba e kwai benso ana efa so eba. Now, answer now, you could be dependent or addicted to Bibiano. There has to be the use. When say bibi anko kapapa enje chede meboa enti no e wo say bibi e hya ase e wo say bibi hya ase enti no e den kra na de ba obi di aba o say through stress, right? Say to say the Indra sister Hannah hu ye no say stress no eba o so sa na, then what can happen is say oh enye mame fa bibi na me fa manage me stress no. What am I saying? And you know, there is always the use first. And you know, abra where you know. Now, after time, now you become tolerant to it. Okay? And you know, you bought ediani din, you bought drugs din, you bought prescription medications din, you bought other things din. Okay? And you know, abra where you know, a drew baby after you become tolerant to it. Now, say, can't be tolerance to something now. Not just say, whatever you are using, is gotten to a time where the frequency and the dosage na who use, and to me will be. And you know, you find say a drawer, or Dr. Ben Hodom no, tramadol 5 milligrams, right? What for 5 milligrams now for some time? Into after they do pempen so be a 5, and to me will pay you into 5 BID twice a day. After the no ma, I was said the offer candy no, into body no again tolerance to the medication at that frequency and dosage. Now, if you want then we go into the dependency. Okay, and there may be some in between, but me person me keeping it to these 4. Then we go to the dependency no, and the dependency ni ye bra o nipeduano after the edan edro. Enti edayedro to the extent he says, say ban says one fair drone you could tell in susuye in sakaye epa widim. And the eban is so now what you say after there you get a withdrawal symptom. Enti no say be say a opioids ube who na fede have cramps, who have AIDS and all of that, right? Say alcohol and also say benzos so ube na fede feel free so. Now, sometimes depending on how much you take and all of that, which may have hallucinations, delirium tremors, and all of that, right? And you know, there is always that withdrawal with dependency. Say, if you hold on, and it's now, okay, let me move on to the next one, and I'll use that example for the addiction. Then the next one becomes addiction, right? Now, for the that is when after the apart from say a new hormone, you have the physiological or the psychological effect, right? Which the medical boy, symptoms are dead. This after they all withdraw from at the corner or also. But apart from that, after they say a new hormone won't be say you wake up with that in mind first. Obviously, even phone, yes. And we go to and none of the page now assembly in us. And none assembly in our Ecclesiastes 12:13. And you know, even phone, it's in the same they say, oh, sorry, Anopa. That thing becomes your first go-to. And as I said, during the day, you want to keep going to it, right? Then you move from just the use of it. After the any tolerance, and we're building towards the subject and analysis said the substance, right? And it's also not that you only dependent on it, but right now you are addicted to it. Or you not what you can't really live without it. And at that point, sometimes with all of these, especially the dependency and the addiction, you denial, say you're addicted to it. Until you are baby if you net be out in the phone, so and I also say, Obia or a drobe so now for the or fan tebia or fan more than doctor are prescribing. Say a new hormone, which means say they are having the physical symptoms, towards the withdrawal from the medication. And this money now, okay, say, hey, why are you addicted to this substance? Or also there be met me without it. But clearly, he or she has not been able to do without it, right? And sometimes what happens in this say about you recognize a cramponess you too much. Now, for us to be able to stop, say a big giant, a year na a day. And what happens? Proud to being addicted to a substance, and also when we are addiction now, we'll go through the phases, Now, there is always a power struggle. Now I said to me be DSC and me pamcho when we're physical, right? There could be the spiritual part, but Munim said, we mean yes, then they just say, Pastor, if you're that money, Pastor Amofamo, ebe chesu sumudia. Maybe the any physical one, until I'll limit my discussions to that. It's no say to me be a DSC. I say, oh, menye, I say, ma menye, my dream one before said, ye may and and zoom into me. Oh, it is our power struggle, no course. So whenever there is that lack of self-control now, and we are not able to give up now, then we fall into it. Okay? And I say, the secret to self-control is to give up control. The secret to self-control is to give up control. You know why? Say, then you cannot really control it. Because at that point, they also obey to me. What do to me be and the secret to self-control is to give up the control that you have over the issue. Then you'll be able to self-control the situation. My confusing what I say to us. Ubeti mama me hu chat tomorrow. Eti no say ye to us na me ka say. Then first thing, ubusa ho, can I do it? Metumi aye. Se ma fedro ya metumi atena. Se ma no say ya metumi atena. Se ma nya, would I be okay? And our brothers are why addicted is very so metumi ajai. If I withdraw myself from the subject now and as I said the substance now, what then happens to me? Right? And you have that power struggle going on. But that is when you need to be empowered. And the will it work? So ebeyaduma. Eya yebusa ye hu sempi. Him ba ko say ye di ya opia ehia. Esa say ye fa di nyina ko rade on Bible. So we ask ourselves so many questions, and sometimes in asking ourselves those questions, I say ye di ye no am I comfortable in the position in which we are. Example, and say I mean say the edri the yakwechi, and also say a drug doctor ne the mama no mafa extra me who says this the edri ne yakwechi. Ne so ma fa so a me hu na mo tutu me. Yet yaze me hu na mo tutu me enti na o se me fa. Na wafa extra one. Na afi the doctor no busa say adeti no edru na sa ntema wo so me kwot na toilet no so no na mensa na wo so na ehwiegu mu. If you work in that space, be sure so what is our story you be playing. The boss Oana, me nana be by few honor, no buy a coin and after the moody ye do need new hobby. Of our no nadia. Sometimes we ask ourselves all these questions so that we feel comfortable in the position in which we are. Or in who to be until the moment for come. Oh, not ya. Eti abra yes no na afi de ebusa say na dey kra no say me jaya is it worth it? Because anytime you stop anything that you are addicted to, you go through withdrawal. Okay? Anytime I will be jaya anything that you are addicted to, there is that withdrawal phase. And withdrawal is never fancy. Any idea will be a person go through. And say ubebusa say is it worth it? Extra tablets here me say me fa na yede mi jai na yede because me fa e ma me pain ne ko se mi jai so a e be ma me aches, right? Me abi mu mi wo sasa brother na me saba benya ahututu aka ho double salasa. It makes us comfortable in our position, but should that be the case? Really not. Okay, you have got risk factors. Enti Anaya na ema ebinum eye addicted to a substance and also say anything at all. Edenti. Eno maybe edi esie ewo. Say about mental health and also say rehwemu bebre na ye wonoma mienu the nature versus the nurture. Unipa ban unipa su wawusu. ene wontiti yemu enti esan say I'm say Dr. Frido said the kind 2 days ago say was say oh yeah exam bia na say oh hwekra na onye sure na say ebusa risk factors go with African American and you are more likely to have it right. Okay, esan say me yo bibini tuntum am free ebibre mu ntino me risk factors on certain things endorse. In this case me nka say addiction no but me dey example me dey ba be see asem so enti ye bosu ye nipa ban ene ya wusu ntino ema enyo bi wo no we become more exposed to it. Enti genetically no somebody can be exposed to become an addict. It's the car said, yes, I said, because and yet said new susumu nenye day, and also said they are not spiritually matured in tea and a man a addict. And then yes, who said, or lacking moral standing tea and a man a addict. It could be genetic, it could run in the family. A bushabi or no man, or sure, what you say addict won't pa. But Mamma Woman Castle said, bia na ne de no na eyensa no papa ne de ne beye maasem ne ba ne de no aba beye gambling. And I'm making a point to say it may not be the same substance of choice. Bia na ebe differ. Nanso no ni nyina kosi say addiction no running in the family. Just as with hypertension, ebusua bi won ma hypertension running wo. Okay, intisana ete. Anna say who use any product, any substance bia, and also say any addictive substance or thing bia Rana goes beyond substance because social media company we could be addicted to. And as I said, I'll base on that. And whenever we are addicted to anything at all, it changes our brain formation. Okay, but to begin with, the brain formation itself, as I said, genetically, can predispose us. Because I need to be addicted, but because a maho kwa na say apemeto. I say ma kwai da ho, ma kwai da ho says one year who be bia obetima ba be addict. Okay, just as once again, I am a person use medical stuff, example because I need to no as because Dr. Bemo etaka no chere bebre. And to the young fan say, me bibini no, me wo a high risk say, bet me hypertension. And just say, bibini be a hypertension. Say ati. Yet to us. Okay. And a bra me use products be and I say drugs be and I say substances be a bedroom baby no after the brain formation no ankasa no it changes. And to most of the neurotransmitters and all of that helps us to be able to reason, differentiate between good and bad and all that, almost an assessor. Remember assignment. Maybe by the time a good student, a woman, no my assignment in a way. Easy one, very easy. Look up the brain of an alcoholic. Necessary images, me patromeko read a whole literature. Images, ne compare. And you get what I'm talking about. Okay. Now, you have the nature. Also, nature no so ye bia ye tete ye. And crofo ye you around them. And your cophobia ye fire. And you may be a pass ye better. Last, I think that this quarter year I think lesson 1. Now your class now you discuss about Adam and Eve about the anybody a say na guy back be our class on nka say ono no ohu ni hu say aka ono na Eve na anhwe akadua no kra ko befo akwakotena so because as he is right now no say ye ka che say kojo enfon san kasa the way ya now he wants to know why they are saying I shouldn't touch intimate me sabe kwakoka na betutu ne oma na apart na be hu de ewo mu wi amasa kesi ani. Right? And sometimes also the choices that we make, or power be a power. And then part the was I do a muntia amount for energy hosa. Mammy caught trash. Okay, baby. Right? And be careful. And I will tell you a story about one of my patients. But you're careful on in your mind. Oh, may try you're very careful. But back to the environment, a quotation which talked about the company that we keep, right? Or say, do not be misled. Bad company corrupts good character. And I also have a thing that I say, no matter who you are and how well trained you are, depending on where you find yourself and the circumstances around you, your position changes. Even a penny for crop when you really son or mobile Dr. Frempo, Pastor Enchadakwa de Bioka, Quadas was and nay, pedifo when you really son of mobile crampono. Who was on mobile I dream there no more for be hono with time, no, and exposure no. Wona a pushy quacker cracker. And Mubian ye, a young kofua yefa, the friends that we keep. It is very important. Yes, curiosity kills the cat. Let us be very careful on the choices that we make, the friends that we keep. And if you have the genetic predisposition now, it's good to be aware and also say, Charlie, me what that risk and maybe on my question. Until the action you may be on man when we lose control. Say Bane say Yentumi and share your hustle. Yentumi and this one. And no ma bend the sound that we could be dependent on or addicted to. Yedikaka Ediane. Doc no a chair say portion sizes. Get sizes in one we share them share. Cratchy via minimum was central zone horno man and shena. This is dog with the waka dear. You be fall, but a betche. Because the other side is when dear. Oh, but food is something that we could be addicted to. If you all know ma, you for comfort measure. Oh, when you have depression after they attend to this food, and after they have become a hormone. So now you become dependent on it or addicted to it. A bit yeah is sweet. Oh, doko on your mano. Hey, no, we typically get addicted to it. To go on mass when the chocolate beer won't mean that. So when the beer that both won't mean that we will let you go mastery. Then no me there on to me Gary Sokins the condensed milk and qua the begumuno. At the forefront. Now sugar woman that down. A cat you and some of the condensed milk a whole tin a goo. No cow say, I did there's so new bewa, also an enemy. Those are some of the things that we could be addicted to. Food. Now, sex is so be addictive. Until you have people that are sex traders. It is not just because of the financial gains, right? If you all know, it is because they are addicted to it, and that is why they are into it. If you all know, some other things that we could be addicted to, gaming. Gaming, they brought it home. What's the first part? They just also read what casino. Now, casino, elder committee be unrelated to the casino part. No say I know war conferences or now after the elder call no be who now game me here into no see there or their brain will fear. Corona no so crap making it easy. So right now you have all the gaming stuff on your phone, especially for those of us who are into sports. To say there, Omayama, some sports are associated with alcohol use. Since gaming is becoming associated with sports, right? And that is how people are paid millions of dollars to study and bring these things out. And that is how they are making it glamorous. Na aye nije. And to say what team will buy yes bet on it. And to say there are so many betting companies, and I know people are listening to us from Ghana and all over the world. Ghana body is right? And they are making it so convenient for you. One video on social media where somebody was sitting in the church and a bra or take a sorry honor not or bet it on the phone, so right? And they are really bringing it to our doorsteps. Now, the other one is social media. And with the social media and this addiction, I don't know DSM-5 not yet, but I foresee very soon it will be a part of it. But either way, no, I'll use that to really explain dependency and addiction. Then we'll open it up for questions. But the other thing that we already mentioned, drugs. Okay, so drugs, we have the prescription drugs. The call doctor hold them or prescribing mao. We have the illicit drugs, the Wall Street, the more coffee. Okay. Now, I say, Mama share this experience. And as I said, experience that a patient shared with me. This patient was a repeat patient or Thai Eba. Now, I said earlier, and sometimes when you see them so often, it makes you think, now they only want to be injured. And to that when I say, why do you keep doing it? Though you know it's not right. And this is a patient we use IV drugs, or more shooting like through the veins, We're shooting on the veins, the left arms need to blow up, right no blow up, and I would do left leg, right? And left leg, around 2-3 years ago, there was a drug now omulesi with heroin to shoot. And so omulesi omu shoot because na actually the fra now or more aye for the potency. Now so omu shooting now it blows the veins and it turns blue. Now when you blue and light skin for who says the bufu cry the veins are turning blue. No way I say shooting now start turning blue. And then I was asking him, Master, right now you're done with your left arm, you're done with your right. You blowing the left leg also. So you only be left with your right leg. So why do you keep doing this? And he told me this. You won't understand. You only get high once. And after that, you chase after the first high. The best thing is not to start. I cannot forget, and I remember the words verbatim. You will not understand. You only get high once. After that, all that you do is to chase after the first high. The best thing is not to start. Ejidifo, Mesra was said, as we earlier on said, curiosity kills the cat. Mesra, and you may be a hodoma. Me pemehu ane ye day. Unima ignorance sometimes is bliss. Peube bitina. And he explained it this way. When you shoot the first one now, sa high now unyano. Opesa use chasey. So you keep doing it. But Esa said body was never exposed to it, and you had that shoot, you will keep doing it and you will never have it. But that is the feeling, that euphoric moment, and now person when you view until don't have the ugusu now yet. What is it? After the ugusu now oh yeah. Until now, and more when you're so addicted, and apart from the deformation to the brain, after the ugusu the physiological part, ugusu chesi sahaido, ube chesi awunya. And no, Anna Mecca said, Solomon said, it's all vanity. Yebeye, yensanka. Enti mumi yanshano so, na yansheni ye. Nenya sa, nyo mebi one ma, odo hube kwa kojim. Ebeye dense obechi uhon, efi. Okay, so now, let's look at internet addiction. Internet addiction is one of the biggest things. Meaning say, drugs, alcohol, substance, and all of that, it is prevalent among our community. But I think it said the rate may be relatively lower. This is not based on studies, I'm just assuming, okay? But when it comes to the internet, we are all in it. We are all in it. And let me explain, say, any addiction affects us, our psychoactive part of us, right? What it means is that the way the brain functions and the way it works. So now let's use this. When you're addicted to something, it alters your mood. Makane dada. Esesa unipesuno. And as I said, usubain mood yede. Esesa watenka. And I say the way I will feel it. I'm keeping it simple. The way I will feel it, as a son, right? And it's mood altering. So now let me use this example. My time no yaso. Into the mirror and faster from here because I am person for questions. I know it's a Saturday or maybe on a Saturday to be back. Let me use this example. Yeko youth camp. I think that was the Mariada one. So that was year zone and you started for zona 1. Now there was this young guy. Na nebra amba Tuesday na ye choir no but Thursday. Na guy no ebeba youth camp no a order ne mpaboa bi a matching entire. Pacho mo follow me o lusi me I want to the mechanism. Wa order ne mpaboa bi a matching entire bi. Mpaboa na amba Tuesday na ansa no back camp. Enti no or track here na say e be deliver Wednesday. So this na nebra no so beba Thursday. So it worked out for him. And so no became by Tuesday. He had planned to wear that combination of Atarian and Pabuano on Thursday. Nebra also delay or a month. This guy had to perform. Neso motonum. Aquana say not because as a Pabuano back, no match Atariano. And son away to media stage. So now I ask a question and I want a response. Say, Obi say, with this conscious effort, and we know so trap picture at the 2 Instagram after when you still filter nina. Let's say, Dr. Opoku, one call like here. What do you think will happen to the self-esteem of that individual? Let's say, Sister Lydia, so I'm commenting. Not Dr. Hannah, so I'm clapping emojis. Let's say, Obi Fufro, so the point I'm making is, you post on social media and you don't get the response that you want or desire. What will be the effect on such a person? Yet, Mazie, we're talking about social media or internet addiction. Okay? And these things will alter our mood at any time because we become so addicted to it and it's affected our thinking, our thought process. So we always want to go and then post, check, and read. Okay? Okay. Abra you use social media and also no. We lose track of time and space. So on share as well. Me prepare for this presentation. I was like, okay, let me practicing your maybe. Of course, I always use my phone. I'm no exception. But then I wanted to pay attention to certain things. When him says, oh, share WhatsApp status, or clock, now I know what top right. And I don't know about Samsung, and I say Android for. But iPhone, and I think it's the same with Android. But I can say for sure, iPhone, or share WhatsApp status, or clock, now or top one of no, it disappears. Or status no cavaso. So when you try here. A cavaso, I don't know the thinking behind it, but this is what I know. It keeps you out of touch with time. Yeah, I say. Until you can stay and watch status, everyone will skip you or shedding into 30 seconds. So be answer my 2 minutes. Cramponess a nipa 20. ASA. It will be transferred to a shower. We are waiting for hey, instead of me, okay, we're talking about dependency and addiction. I said the devil is a liar. When in the house, oh, so we lose track of time and space. This is another example. When we say social YouTuber, right? Then you say, oh, it's in the minimized form. Let's say, oh, share like a whole YouTube video. It also takes away the time. Right? So you could stay on YouTube, and what it does, and also say video now we are another suggested one, Beba. And you realize you said the suggested one that follows, is something similar to the one that you were watching. So it sustains your interest. Internet addiction. So we talked about staying on it, right? And then also gaining the tolerance and then the dependency. And where did you know, yes, African movies are very, very true. Oh, and I same on Netflix. All of these. And to know a similar one to sustain your attention. After they know it, by the time I home not a miracle. We lose track of time and space. Okay. It also gives us an illusion of efficiency. Oh, as a me bibiama. But ube edano ubisa won say ede pa na maya. Eya na wo answer you say. Apart from so share ejakwa na wo say, which is therapeutic. I have nothing against that. But bibia wonimre. What am I saying? Enti no ubehwa afedi eba no ubehu no, then you've lost track of time. Now, this is the other thing too. It's very, very distracting. Eyi yadri efi enyomaso. Sisi ano ye would on my meeting crown kwasia. We're still on our phone. We can't live without it. Ye bubu ono ma say ye nam crampuna na ye text. Ebu on my ye driving crampuna na ye share YouTube video. Na ye text. Na ye other activities on our phones. So it's distracting us all the time. And you know very well, so when we talk about dependency and addiction, as I mentioned earlier, there's always withdrawal when the thing is removed from us. Until now, what J with teenager phone pen? My pause for a reason. I want you to think deeply about this. The tantrum that they throw when you've taken their devices, okay? And it's not just omo. So one kasano crampon, so what training be? Next year, catch up and say, when you now from phone, and who has ya? How do you feel? Because Tawada me do and your committee do or national, my boss back home. You draw the man of the basket, but we are for the food. Then they were a nibia about for the share if a nikuma and Kobuku lady no yes in that day. We'll do anything to go back for it. It is very, very painful. And whatever they say, nature puts us to sleep. You cry for now, nature, I'm a yada. And what do we do first? Okay? So anytime it's taken away from us, there is that discomfort. So as soon as you wake up, the first thing is to go for it. And to say the correction, a call, a blue kiosk on 4 o'clock. It is the same thing. And as I said, you wake up and you feel like you got to pop another pill. It is the same thing. Okay, so let us be very, very mindful. And that affects you also on our performances, whether job, school, and as all of that. And also, it leads us to sedentary lifestyle. And we have to exercise. But we are staying on that phone. And you know, okay. Let me give you these two other examples on internet and as a social media addiction. So one, say your phone at a vibrator. What happens to they say, oh, hold on, I also phone vibrating. True or false? Oh, hold on, now you say oh, phone vibrating. Do and also because you have that sensation. A word of my I say our phone ringing. And so phone ringing. Because it's a word in the air say you always like the mind is now connected to the phone. Right? And now a go so now my phone a stroke. Sometimes maybe was so now my phone was here. My phone so entire that ring because they are not ringing until to vibrate only. Right? But our friends only have me was roll phone be vibrating ma phone no was here man take say phone ringing me be fish rubber be answer me call I say now you dey who say phone ringing. It is because it said the mind is connected, it is vibrating, yet I could still feel and hear it, and I'll come and answer my phone call. And you know, those are some of the things one really you don't pay particular attention to it and it eats you up. can't say me use social media, but the point I'm making is let us be very mindful and very, very careful. Okay, now you find say or any addiction or any dependency. What do I do? And then I say me run it quickly. Now after it's me ebusan sem kakra. The aka is Saturday. First of all, Yenjin Tum said your problem. That is the first thing. We have to accept to say we have a problem. Say yes, Adia. Obia Waira Onukwa no nimbe o. And you say if you have a problem and you're not admitting that, it will be very difficult for anybody to help you. Okay? And one, you need to share a problem. Two, now we should have the willpower. And having the willpower alone, let me explain it right here before I confuse anyone. Having the willpower alone will not take away the addiction. But I don't know here, Emma, after they receive help. Or person ye better, I know here. Meshabo, and you switch and so what and then off keke. It is people better, oh, now they don't mean Jana Yamasa for ye, and I know Johnny did. There be Yamasa risk level, different. The environment, different. The support, different. And to the Opia, a dance. Meshabo, and yes, switch, and you do know. Yanti as I say, Adia, Medi in fear bebre, and not bebre, Busumi bebre. Esiana mayano eden se bejane dako yeti ase enti no eye bibia o eye mejai o chale this our office stop o our office stop na leveje minani manya maka oboa untimi njaisa e wo se o make a conscious effort na utimi e follow through say ho no so manti ase a make a pigeon ana make an cry but the same thing na make enti no mumeyen hye so sa. And don't ignore your cravings. Into so dear any candies, or dear any drugs, no, or dear any internet, no, whatever yours is. Don't just ignore because a banner so we ignore all kind of power struggle. Now I say after the ordinate in time, but accept it said there be I do with the weakness. Me now a banner say a bar a day. So you acknowledge it. And then you find a plan. So, yes, there be a new one, then you go back to the denial. Also, there has to be the willingness. Oh, into the abra, what you have to know or pepano. Now, when we say the cravings, now for the when you or penny say, what the bay. Now, find something distracting. It's not become distractive now. What I mean is, say, a banner say, Bibipa Uchimu say, oh, menkoye this whatever I'm craving now, and also whatever I'm addicted to now. Process it first. What that does is it separates you from the item or the subject matter. What you say? And to say, oh, dear, and son, and also say, oh, dear, a pills out now, popia. Say, but they say that cravings comes up now. Then you start to process it. You find something else to do. You distract yourself from it. Then it separates you from it. Okay? Now, the next thing also say, therapy and medication are forms of a treatment. And as I said earlier, treatment is not one size fits all. Obi on my therapy, obi on medication, obi also I just on the cabo. But as Christians, sometimes, you put one man, pay you or hold man. Say, Christo for dear, and you maybe one man is here, and was a mental health issue, or therapist or a psychiatrist, or there be Ujidi Anu Adu. Young Copibu, Michelle Empire, dear, and so Jacopo announced the my dear, and so I desire. And to be punctual, Yanjaya is also any day. And it is okay to have Christ and to have therapists. Did that sink in? And I'm in you. It is okay to have Christ and to have a therapist or a psychiatrist. And to be someone, there is nothing wrong with it when we have to seek treatment. Let's do, because there are some addictions that we cannot overcome it at home. Now, finally, now for the Musa questions. Build your confidence with these forces. Build your confidence with these forces. Be competent at what you are doing. So learn, train, and practice. Okay? So if I'm addicted to the internet and I want to get over it, I have to learn how to get over it. I have to train myself and practice it. And to say, may share status. I know, say, I'm watching it for 2 minutes. Say, periodically, no, may feel status or no, no matter 2 minutes as one. Say, I saw a major. So you have to learn, you train yourself, and then you practice it to become competent. You also have to be responsible for your actions, consequences. Oh, and madam when the mammy I come in, I wake up, come in, a drone many and yes, and then find the extra one. Right? So we always apportion blame. The Ken only anyway. I'm my brother's keeper. And I use Adam Yeno. Adam way. Or say, whom me quote. Now, because I didn't know and your banner or did mammy. Oh, can you order? Yes, that's it. But we have to be responsible for our actions and accept the consequences. And then accountability is also key. As part of consequences, you know, we have to be responsible and also be accountable for our own aid. Then also community. Endra, Auntie Hannah, Eka about support system and have this big thing about people that say, oh, Ghana focus, I don't know, they been pay Ghana for and all of that. It is your choice. But let me tell you, say, this psychosocial support system that we have, a very strong and very good. Me patcho me yembu ne nimtia. Ada asembetono and obeti de make yase. And when we say psychosocial, it is the psychological and social support. And to do this social system that we have supports us psychologically. We can't backwards. Yet as it. And to the people me yem to tunase. Asafune da hosa no me pabocho. In fact, so bebre ewo. Ane ye nipa obi beka me ho asem ebe ha me. Eno no wo hono. But enye nunti na emwa hodua efimu ba. Ebe fi hono. Eno so Auntie Hannah Kebibi, which is very important. Talk to someone you trust. People just say, "Oye penimu, oye yakendini, oye obi ewo asafunim." Anase se wadamfu bi oni asafunim po. O kan na sem chewa esan se oji wudi nti. So person ko biara de ti a ko de ko era 1 radio. Anase o de ko Yonkudo radio. Anase se o de ko CB radio. O person obiara beti nti. Ana o ka chewa so, o anka nchewa no. So be a boom free. Last one, the choices that we make. Mumaye making right choices. Because the choices that we make today will affect us tomorrow. Minimesi has said, so we are assembly, me pamocho obetimi ebusa. Na afide ye anona etimi aboy edition. Madam Wasepe.
Dog, thank you so much. I think say baba and some year pan. I think say most of us ya probably name say trail line and me say what more so but the net was sliding. And I mean I decided to write it down. Or see, legal does not mean safe.
Oh yes.
Legal does not mean safe. I love that line because yeah, or my mother says, in the Bible, no, it has been legalized. So the question is that the fact that they said it has been legalized, and does not mean that it is safe for a Christian to use. And I wrote that line of managing.
Very good. My shadow, but it showed me so don't pay attention.
All right. I think that the questions, and I shall say, but maybe can't for the first one, at least you were following the chat line. Will be the kind of question back where the camp already and Sana Yake or more mobile so normal day questions about. The first one is if someone smoke weed and he decides to stop, does the person have to detox, or what are the processes involved? That is the first question.
So the answer will be generic because, as I said, there's no one size fits all. Right? Okay. Anytime there is any form of dependency or addiction, in this case, also marijuana and as a weed. Say every open so jaya, ubu on ma or no abeti mejai. And your problem, man. Or no abeti mejai. Obesia how to go through the processes, not wejai. And no hodom. Ebu hodom so that it was said or get substance abuse treatment involved. Okay. Now with me, a detoxing of it. In most cases, say marijuana and I say weed in India. In most cases, or one night and I say with the help of a friend or something like that. But say compared to some other substances in there, I want advice is to try with you. She said you should move you or say do not try this at home.
Okay. That's it. I think that there's another question I'll say, is there a good or beneficial addiction?
Too much of everything is bad.
Okay.
I can say, oh, Christosum. But even a rock upon a binum ya, but they do pepper so be a sea or more a jumaya quine. Yet the Bibia quack share yame.
Yeah.
Yanko Ponso, my Indiana quancha, I say, editing assassin.
Okay.
Until when we even use that to the point where it is clouding our judgment and Yanko Ponadia Maya, then I think it's problematic.
Okay. Thank you. I think for many, if there are any questions, I don't actually see any hand up. Until I don't know if there are any questions. I think our technical people are helping us. You can also put your question in the chat section if you have any questions.
Doc, I was obedient.
Yeah, this one.
Oh, sorry.
This one from Leo and Maggie.
Right.
Okay.
I don't know if that's mentioned already. Are there any beneficial side of addiction?
Yes, and I'm side.
What's it?
Oh, okay.
And I'm say, are there any good or beneficial part of addictions? And I want to say yes. Okay. May both are raising and some. Yes, may both. And our technical people make my boy and my next maybe send a question.
Yo, Bacho Madam Wasi, Doctor Bacho, send your call, yeah, annual checkups, no.
Checkups, okay.
Mental checkup, so they are from me who here say, Abia, Afibia, so young Konya share Binumana.
Mister, because of course, the almost had the time representation will be busa. Idea who here, but I say, yeah, preventative medicine, and I say, you check up near the corner. So call PCP Hodoma as part of checkup no more, you know. There are certain questions, maybe do you feel safe at home near your man? But unfortunately, no, they don't go much in depth. Emma say Bibu or Hodoma, and as I say, apart from say you don't feel safe at home, and now no man can tell this, they don't pick on it and then be able to follow up with it. For now, they are as part of maintenance medicine, no, and yeah, dear, a mudopi, can't your treatment modalities. And usually I had a secondary. Oh, I say and it's not at the chair say no. And to answer your question directly, no. Oko PCP Hodoma, me pacho bet my stress on the fact is said, we're looking more into such a thing and obey my boy.
All right, thank you so much, Doc. There's another question. I'll say, how can parents help their upcoming children not to start any acts that may lead them to addictions? Quite ben so na you know say our Ofori platform say be so here from Ghana, which we are very grateful. So be a honor parent to be a quite ben so no so abo ne ma e ho ban a omuntimi start be a believe you omuntu nioma ye keka ho asem.
Okay, the other kind your kubone say obrapa. And you know, be careful and pay attention to the friends that your kids make.
Okay.
Uncle for money now no make I see so papa because say a branch will be person we couldn't feel you. Now you entiase after the Matthias here.
Yeah.
Into no ye the kai, right?
Yeah.
They toss me no more and no money come and fat and no ma air cost of. Yeah, you better to say your more friend no enim the cost and they essen ye no. What do I say?
Yeah.
But there are sometimes me who say, especially in the Ghanaian community, no. So obubu say a question be a you're comfortable with her. Now I say you say a tram so. Na ye ja hoko. But all the side near dinner, yes, all the tram so now. Obeko kope or baby fufro. And to let us be frank with them. See any mamma pacho manu so unim, ne kwashishe. And I pour beer on him a man, no intimi no man. Right? And as the tosu be on so no say more friendly co school, and as I say almost share to baby as sia. Yen take your time, yen no monkasa. Ni yen who say be a bibi cheer. There could be a peer pressure from somewhere which is leading them to certain behaviors. And you know, a third chair, and a woman say, "Okay, so casa back, you know, and yakwa, if you baby neighbor." Oh, also a bedroom baby, no, not oh, Phyllis said, "Well, who more than what the parents?" I offer what has in part of mood does in the weeping. But since you know, a kid in high school typically will be paid. What do I say? And you know, you know, and secondly, no, so you pay attention to them. Say, whenever there's a variation, we'll be able to tell.
Okay. Dr. Freda to also like bullying, any of those things, and
exactly.
Who we saying. And now, my Felicia Bokote editor said children and youth are screened during annual physicals. In TCC, they started screening the children and the youth during the annual physicals. Okay. There's another question. Or say, is it good to make them aware about alcohol and drugs at an early age? I feel like creating the awareness rather than curious, like making them curious to want to, like, to make them want to try.
What do you say? I agree, no. And so the crow woman say, so one chair now, obeku ate, it's your baby fufro.
Okay.
Yeah, you might music videos, yeah. That is how they saw these things to us to begin with.
Yeah.
And to all parents in the crowd, what do you mean? So, what you Ghana for your man? A womb. What ye abrofu dia a womb?
Yeah.
It's, you know, now it is being introduced to us subconsciously.
Yeah.
And, you know, it is better say, Obabada who say, Adia omo chair or music video, and I say, Adia omo show a TV suite. Ebia enya depa. Onoma say na debe bro. Ane ebinum nom de. Me pamchosa na metie bi o se debi ye nyesa. Na me baba ko ebusa. She's only 4 years old. And obusa ne na say, no ne kaze ba ko no so 4 years. Edi nkobo. Ana boy ni busa girl ne say oh ye enshasma de me man enshasma de. Ana girl no ka say oh no, they do. Ana ne na fish robe and okay say no we don't. And I say but I've seen people wear it. Other boy now with this 7 the boy say in my class there is a boy who wears earring. Yeah, there be ebinumo ye. I didn't see the binum ye. Ne ye the ye no they achieve. See you must have blanket straightforward answers now. They know more than what we know. And usually we say ourselves no nature say or matu baby dada.
Thank you so much. My name so be another question. I think there's another hand. Lydia Odum. Now, whilst you're on mute, Lydia, we say what are some of the signs if a child starts to use drugs?
So it will vary.
Okay.
When you drugs in your muahodo, your downers, your uppers, right? Until you go on or far about ye slow, and ye say. It will also our far a bit more keka into whether the person is using a downer or an upper. Sometimes also some behaviors are when they say after the true ones about more life. Anna or 30.
Okay.
It is a critical school that says so about 4 o'clock. Now if you over here no about 7, 8, then you know so there's a problem somewhere. You want to investigate. I mean, case you should that, but you want to investigate. Okay. If you also now, you say after the oba no sneaking up or question basement or no. Because on person one either so be piano and as so be say the near is saying and as a bibisa. Oh, you know, as you pay attention. Also, you check your backpack.
Okay.
Any memo, they may not expect you to search, but Or your back, what you fear? Search it.
I think that I'm so happy with some of the questions now about now. It just brings to mind, like we are focusing on drugs and we're saying now. One of them that comes readily to mind is about the food addiction. I was reading one of these research articles now. Some of these food companies, it's not even the pharmaceuticals, because most time some of the food companies didn't even target pregnant women. The kind of food they eat, like the sugars in any way, saying your mom a crave, and almost I say, and by the time I cry, already you talked about the genetic component, or mono, they are not even looking at the environmental. Maybe I want to easier, so if you are environmental, no probably will be controlled. They are modifying the genetic parts and into omrano, the nipe, those kind of food, into no manner the normal ones that say. Near Dr. Freda Motre, and they are not willing to do that. They are more penny. The dead night, the man.
I say, I did so do be what
So I think that those are some of the things that we also need to look at. Even for pregnant women, we also need to be very careful on our food selection, because it also goes to affect the formative years now of the unborn child. Into by the time I run some of these addictive predispositions and will already be there. Mrs. Lady Odom still and Sana will happen to if there are technical people with me, I'm in and Sana hand it over to our coordinator. And Obi say, do we search their backpack secretly or openly? How will they feel if they realize that?
So what's that? You have to always have a relationship. Yeah. So if it's an open book, it's an open relationship where they know, so my mom, and also my parents always have that relationship with me. They come to my room, they help me clean the room and stuff like that. Now, opening the backpack becomes routine.
Okay.
On the region. But then the question said there's that distance enough the woman touch your body.
Okay. Yeah. Mrs. Odum, I think we take the last one from you and then.
Doctor, Madam Masipa, Doctor, to me, so Yamin Shaw and Sister Anna or my Dianipa now what they dessert Nabeka. Any previous ones now. At some and I say me vampire say you be fun very, very serious, because if we know a platform, we are to say up on 4 platforms. So to my young fan very, very serious. Now, me myself back one person me to addiction as some young kind when say. In fact, you don't know until you know. And now you never know what you have until you lose it or whatever. What I have experienced about addiction, common popcorn, me walk Ghana. All of a sudden, I became addicted to popcorn for continuously about 5 years. And I say, me popcorn now, me handbag be bro back with them. Me to me fa car, me fa dropping on my top a bro ayatse. Me fa dropping with a bro. Tell me, I want to chew a bro, and I say popcorn. And me da cry and I do me family me never cry me to me fa macaroni and me boom no me de book prime no machi no marry. Just I want to chew on something crispy or something, but I never said there chips and it was popcorn or a bro. And then I have me could be some doctor or see on your BBI. But me a hono a hammy pan at the end me but me was all of a sudden me adapted SARS subine. And you me who say me because it's too much for me. And I mean to mean jai. And me baba brochi na there na me bi say me ko say hot popcorn wo kwa on je me bi wo hot pa on to be so. And say eno na me de beba. Me to me crave for me Gary ayachi Gary fresh pa na me something crispy but any na e bro. And me bedu hanu nature no me be yare pa. I think to say me ya ni na accumulate bibi e koso me honam genu. So me sre when say you can't addiction now so many angles, but me who say if you to me to make us no man son I say cigarette and I say even coke I'm not addicted to, even drinks, minerals I'm not addicted to. But work it way with the share dear Emma me who say addiction about a bra boma. So once you see 9 year pa obi aka bibia chewa wonte enti mama yen hu sankofo ni mobo. These people need they need us, they need people to get closer to them, but not to just push them away or condemn them or enti nya can pa na eboa me ade ba ko eboa me ni Galatians 5:22 say Yesu obema self-control. Self-control no was so papa na sa Bible akatem to am self-control and they only say me pa but because nyame na ma me ahoden ya metumi dia control me them adena crave no, because even people crave for anything some na yes and my mom pa ma sa de ni fi ho, because before you realize na asel time e be sell wo be wie no we are who share ye na we wan na de ba bonsam timisra holiday nyame kwa na wo mo are addicted to anything at all. First me pay physics direct and sign they be anything kwa so your addiction, because they pay out it when you be one some can what it and in na kan sa super kitin na no nyame dua na yenjai.
Amen. And that's it. And that's it.
Mrs. Boashi, I think that we'll leave the rest for you. I think that a time and a call into your other questions, we'll leave it for Sabbath afternoon.
Yes, everyone who has questions, let's hold it for Sabbath afternoon. Thank you, Dr. Philip. Thank you for what a wonderful presentation you gave to us tonight. We thank all the speakers this week. God willing, tomorrow at this time on this station, we will meet again for another wonderful service. Please, we encourage you to invite friends, family, your neighbors, extend the invitation, and we will meet you here tomorrow. Shall we pray? Our Father and our God, we thank you for what a wonderful presentation that we received today. Lord, you will give us a victory over all these addictions that we may encounter or be exposed to. Please be with us as we continue to learn more about your will in our lives. Be with each person on this platform, each family represented. May your grace and peace be among us all. Bless us as we depart from this place and wherever we may go. In your name we pray. Amen. Good night.
Good night.
People we soon Savior, that we see walk out free. Hey, me, your morning, Tina, yes, oh, mammy, your morning in our hey, me, your morning, Tina, yes. People be so na senya that be see walk away. Eye mene wo yamboni tina Yesu yo. Oh mami ni wo yamboni nina kaneni wo. Eye mene wo yamboni tina Yesu. Asenya tata bisi kavi, asenya tata bisi kavi. Metri muda, metri rasenya no. Kaven me bono sona Yesu uiu. Oh ma minewo, oh ma yena. Yesu beben wasenya kave asenya meben wasenya kave asenya asenya dada bisi kave asenya dada bisi kave metri nuda metri wasenya no. Very people no so na Yesu iyo. Oh ma benewo, oh ma yena. Yesu meben wasenya, kave asenya.